Today we're talking about long-term storytelling in independent wrestling. A lot of people have said it's not possible, it doesn't cater to the casual fans. We're going to break it down and see exactly how you can make the most of telling those long-term stories at the local level. So I guess there's a little bias here because admittedly I am a sucker for long-term booking, long-term character development, long-term storytelling. It's something that drew me into pro wrestling and kept me fascinated with pro wrestling. Is it possible at the local level when shows might be monthly, crowds seem to chop and change often, you don't have the benefit of TV, maybe social media isn't as developed? Absolutely yes, it is possible. So I'm going to put it all in the context of pitching long-term ideas. I know I had an episode very similar to that recently, but this one's more about things to think about when you are coming up with those ideas first and foremost. The first thing I'll say is don't be too meticulous with your planning. For those of you who are big fans of long-term storytelling in cinema, if you're a huge Marvel fan, it's very easy to think about all of those little points and how important they are to the overall story. But the best thing to do is have pivotal moments, have those key points that you need to hit, but the rest can kind of be maybes. Because if you put too much stock into every little moment, there's a very good chance at the independent level they just will not happen. Injury, illness, weddings, unavailability, people just quit. Promotions don't want to book your story anymore. There's so many reasons why things won't happen. Keep those key points, A, B, C, D, E. Think about the conclusion and where you want to end up. But the little in-betweens, they got to be maybes. On that note, always think about your outcome. How do you want to finish this storyline off? How do you want to blow it off? I know some of the most frustrating times in my life as a fan of TV and cinema is when you get to that finale and it just sucks. Because obviously they've put a lot of thought into the series and then it's maybe gone a little bit too long or they haven't mapped it out backwards. I like to reverse engineer things. I want to know what the outcome is, where the characters will end up, how they will evolve over time, and who benefits in the long run. And hopefully that is everyone benefits in the long run. But start with the finish and then think about how you're going to get there in the same way you think about your match. Structure a match with the finish first in mind and then go backwards and look at the rest and see if it supports that finish. If you're enjoying these videos and want to support me in making bigger and better content just like this, make sure you head over to my worldbeaterwrestling.com Patreon. It's a community for pro wrestlers, current and aspiring, a place of networking, collaboration, and exclusive learning content to help you on your pro wrestling journey. Anyway, back to the video. The next one is not relying on too many moving parts or stakeholders. If you have a lot of characters involved and they can't really be interchanged, then again, there's a good chance that one of them just won't be able to be involved. And if that derails your entire storyline, then it's not a good storyline. So have those loose ideas in mind and then think about what sort of supporting characters could help your storyline, which is why I think the inner turmoil storylines are some of the most effective. If the storyline is all about you, yourself, your character development, then really anyone could be a supporting character because it all comes back to you. Now, talking about casual fans, I think a lot of the time there's maybe a bit too much stock put in the word casual fan, but you do need to think about people coming to your show for the first time, and not everyone's going to be following your storyline. In fact, most people probably are not at the independent level following your storyline. So make sure that all those little plot points, what you're doing show to show, is easy enough to understand. I think it's great to have long-term stories where hardcore fans are paid off for following along, but make sure that in the short term, in the micro, it's still an enjoyable thing and it makes sense. The best storylines cater to every audience. Going back to Marvel movies, in my very loose fandom where I didn't really read any comics and I didn't really watch any early TV series. In fact, my awareness was next to nothing when I actually started watching the Marvel film series. But I would watch things and I would see things happen and they'd kind of go over my head, but I still enjoyed the films in isolation. I enjoyed them as films, but seeing little things happen that didn't really make sense to me didn't derail the whole story. It was still enjoyable. And that actually made me want to go back and research. I want to see, what's this character's story? Why did he do this? Why is everyone online freaking about this part of the post-credits scene And how can I get in that same mindset? You know, how can I understand it and appreciate it like everyone else is? So, look, I think there is merit to catering for people who are new to your shows, because at this level of local business, you want people to be coming back for more. We're trying to build our crowds. But you still have to respect the hardcore fans who spend the money, who are loyal to your promotion, and who really want to see the next step and be paid off for their last 1, 2, 3+ years of fandom. So let me know what you think. What do you think about long-term storytelling? Are you a fan or not? Do you think it works at this level? Hit the like button, spread the word, subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already. I hope to see you over at patreon.com for plenty of more exclusive content just like this. See you next week for another episode of World Beater Wrestling.